Hey, it's Mr. Lang, Wash Life. Listen, quick announcement before this video starts. I got a Facebook page, so pause the video right now. Open up your Facebook and type in Wash Life. You will find a new Wash Life page with my big pretty face on it, and we can all just kind of get on there and talk and help each other out and blah, 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 blah. It's going to be sweet. Also, well, I don't even need to mention it, but if you want some marketing material, we can really help you out. 25.gfx, 25gfx.com/washlife. Check us out. And yeah, enjoy the video. What I was gonna say is, this video I'm gonna put together a low cost, highly effective power wash setup. It's going to be about 2,000 to 2,200 bucks. I think it was like 2,100 bucks when I added it all up. But it's all the stuff that I would pick if I had an extra 2,000 bucks laying around. I would build this setup in a heartbeat. I'd be ready to rock and roll. And yeah, it's kind of crazy actually. I was adding up. I was like, wow, that's it. I should really build another setup. So, all right, sweet. I hope this helps. I'm pretty excited about it. So. I know it's a lame video. It's a lack of editing, but I don't got time for that, man. I gotta go pick my daughter up from daycare, actually. At this rate, I'm gonna be late. So there would be hold on. There would be three different websites I would suggest ordering from. The first one being KEC Supplies. KEC Supplies is the only website I've been able to, or the cheapest I've been able to find this power washer. This power washer would be a house washing beast. You don't need a bunch of PSI. It's only 2,500 PSI on this power washer, okay? But it's 5.5 gallons per minute. Now the beauty of 5.5 gallons a minute is you technically can hook up to most houses. Most houses put out enough water to feed this beast. You're pushing it, but most houses can. And it's 1,500 bucks. Belt drive, 5.5 gallons per minute. You'd be super happy washing houses with this. But John, I want an 8 gallon a minute like you because 8 gallons a minute are so much more water and they wash houses so much faster. Wrong, okay? The 8 gallon a minute is cool, don't get me wrong. But it's only cool because I have a big ass trailer and a big buffer tank. Other than that, it's sometimes a nuisance, especially when we come across a low flow home. It's too much water because it takes a lot to feed that machine. It's a beast. So one thing I need to upgrade on my trailer is get a bigger tank. I need to have a tank twice the size of the one I got. And still, it's like, ugh, do I really want to lug this around? If I knew what I knew now and I could do it over again, I would probably get this 5.5 gallon minute machine and I would cram it all onto a pickup truck and just drive around a pickup truck. And I'd build a bunch of setups like the one I'm going to talk about now and have a bunch of crews out there washing houses. That's what I would honestly do. Now, the other thing I would get from this site, because this power washer comes with 50 feet of hose, a power wash gun and wand. It just comes with the basic stuff. I would also, in addition, get 150 foot of hose, and I would get the gray non-marking. And this is a pretty good price I've found. 162 bucks for 150 feet, so that's damn near. It's a little over $1 a foot. The gray hose is nice, and that's the only two things I would get from this site. Doing some price, when I was doing like price checking and comparing things, this site has really good deals on these two items here, but there was some other stuff where they were sometimes close to 100% more expensive than other sites. So you gotta be careful of that. Just because a site has a good price on a few things doesn't mean they have the best prices on everything. So I would get the power washer and the hose from this site here, KEC Supplies. Now moving on, my next stop would be Amazon. Again, there's only a couple things, and this one is even iffy. If you want to go cheap with your ball valve, this would work. I've never had one, and I don't like the idea of it being a big clunky bar like that. I like the ones that I have where it's a smaller, but they are a little more expensive. The one I have is like 40 bucks. These ones are only 13 bucks. So if you want to save some money, you can get that, or you could spend a little extra money and get the nicer one. But what you can get here is the general pump hose reel. Now I have one just like this, but the one I have only is supposed to hold 100 feet. What's nice about this is this says 150 feet, and I know what you're thinking. Well, maybe you are, maybe you aren't. But John, if I buy the 150 foot, like you said to buy off of KUC supplies, and then I connect my 50-foot hose that comes with the power washer, isn't that 200 feet? It won't fit on the reel. Wrong. It will fit. It'll be a little bit tight, but it'll fit. They rate these, they're always underrated, so it has a lot of room to swivel. But once you, wrap up that last foot or 2 foot, you'll realize like, wow, I can't fit any more hose on this. Otherwise it'll bottom out, I guess is the word. It won't fit on the reel. You won't be able to spin it. There won't be enough space. Um, but yeah, as long as you wrap that up nice and even, back and forth, and you don't roll it too heavy on one side or the other, you'll fit 200 foot on that reel all day. And 200 feet is a golden number, in my opinion, for house washing. You can usually reach all the way around to the far corner and then, get the other side. Sometimes you can get lucky and go all the way around the house with it. So yeah, 200 feet is the way to go. And 200 feet is about as long as you can go without having issues with the downstream injector. The downstream injector needs to be, for it to be convenient, have it right by the power washer. And if it's too much of a distance, it won't pull chem. So in order to stay within that guideline, don't go over 200 feet, and you'll be good. Now, the third and final site I go to is Pressure Tech. You could swear I'm getting paid by these guys for how much I talk about them, but really, I'm not. I just like their site. It's clean. I like the prices. They're fair, and that's that. So here's more of the miscellaneous stuff, and some of this stuff you may or may not need. I would buy it just because I like to be a little prepared. So I would buy a couple 25 packs of O-rings. It's going to be way overkill. You won't go through O-rings like that quick at all, but it'd be nice to have. If you really want to save the $10, that's how much it would cost you, is about $10. You can skip that and just kind of buy them as you go. I've gone months without having to replace any O-rings, so it's not a necessity. I highly suggest the injector bypass kit. This is a really cool thing to have. It all you do is turn that lever when you want the chemical injector to draw, and then you turn the ball valve when you don't want it to draw. It's very convenient. I know it's $85. It's not a necessity, so if you want to save that money, you can. You don't have to have it, but it's kind of one of those things. Once I had it, I would never go back. It's something I would always have on my truck. Um, Basically, if you don't have this, all you would have to do is what you would have to do is whenever you do not want to draw chem, you'd have to pull your siphon from the chem bucket and drop it in a freshwater bucket. That's what you'd have to do, because you can't just pull it out and have it. You don't want it to be sucking air ever. That's the thing, is you don't want it to be sucking air. And with this chemical injector, it's always going to be drawing if you have a soap tip on. And that's all you wash a house with, is the soap tip, the larger orifice. You know what I'm trying to say? It makes sense to me, but you'll know what I'm talking about if you've washed houses at all, or if you've been studying enough. So I like the Hydrol chemical injector. This is the, hold on a second. Okay, so let's take a little break and do some studying on downstream injectors. So you have a few options. My go-to option would be getting the Hydrol chemical injector and the bypass kit. Okay, and that way I can, like I was saying, you can turn the knob for when you want it to draw and turn it when you don't want it to draw. Okay, or you can decide to not get the bypass kit and get the Adams injector. Now, what's cool about the Adams injector, and this is actually what I had on my 4 gallon a minute machine, is this little knob up here spins. Okay, so when you want it to be sucking up soap, you spin it open, and when you don't want it to be sucking up soap, you would close it. You spin it shut. Now, the only thing with this is it's just a little, there's a gasket or whatever in there. So after a few months, they start to get a little withered, and it doesn't want to shut or open, and So after using and abusing that thing quite a while, it will fail eventually. But I mean, that's just like anything, really. You either way you go, either route you go, you always want to flush out your injector with at least 2 or 3 gallons of fresh water. You want to run 2 or 3 gallons of fresh water through your injector. You know what that means is drop your siphon in a fresh bucket of water and draw it until it's gone. That doesn't mean just hold the trigger down without the siphon and soap. You know, it has to be pulling clean water. Um, I hope I'm not over explaining things, but you know, when I was looking into this stuff, I really would wish people would go that in depth sometimes because it would confuse me. Come on, why don't my cart pull? Oh, this is going to piss me off. Okay, here we go. Okay. So, where were we? So now you see the options with the injector and chemical injector, and that's just a decision you'll have to make. Um, there is no right or wrong decision. So you'll want your J Rod kit, you know, the 5 to 6 gallon per minute selection. You'll want your little J Rod kit. That's my favorite. You could spend some money and get the X Jet downstream nozzle, but I'd say just go with this personally. You'll want a brush, okay? You'll want your multi-directional brush. This is a really cool brush because it has 3 little spots you can screw in the back, so you can screw it at different angles, and it works really well for whenever you have to agitate some gutters if you want to do some oxidation removal. Oxidation removal is it's a very easy upsell. A ball valve. I really think a ball valve is a must. The swivel there, you know, a lot of people talk about a swivel and a ball valve. The swivel is really nice. It's nice not having anything coil up on you or whatever, but it's not a must. The ball valve is definitely a must. You really are going to want that. It comes in handy a lot. I mean, I use that ball valve on almost every job. I don't know how I made it so as far as I did without one. You'll want an extra gun. I would grab an extra gun, and the reason why is because you'll want to put a quick connect on it, like I think the male one would go in that. And basically, so you'll have a pistol grip gun. You'll have a gun without a rod. You want one without a rod, and then you want one with that reach with the lance. And you'll get a gun with a lance when you buy the power washer on KEC supplies. You'll get one comes with this one. Let's just double check what comes with it. Anyway, I'll let that load. And then the rest of it is what I know this might be overkill, but this is just stuff. This is stuff I like to have. Because sometimes you'll have to make things happen, you know, or your little quick connects fail or what have you, you know. So what I would honestly do, and they're only a few bucks each, you know. I think the most expensive one is $3.52. Um, I would get 2 of each, so I'd get 2 males on the 3/8, and I would just get 2 of each. So I got 3/8 male, 3/8 coupler male, and then I see the female. So there's the male version, and then there's the female version, and then there's the male version. See the threads, and then female it gets threaded into, and then I do that for the 1/4 inch also. And then you shouldn't have anything on your unit that's 1/2 inch. And then here's the brass hex coupler. So this is an important part you'll want. You'll want the 3/8, and what this coupler will be used for is connecting. It'll be for connecting the hose. You'll connect this hose to the hose that comes with this. And the reason why you'll want to go with a coupler is because it's less restrictive than using quick connects. If you put a bunch of quick connects on the ends of the hose and then just connect them, there's more resistance with it going through these quick connects, and you have more room for failure with O-rings breaking or getting worn. Just use a coupler because you should never have to You shouldn't ever have to unhook the two hoses. You should never have to disconnect 50 foot of hose from your 150 foot of hose. You should just always be running the 200 feet of hose. So, in summary, you guys, that's two, this is with everything in my cart, and this is a little generous too. You don't have to get this $85 bypass kit. You don't have to get these O-rings. You don't have to get a bunch of different quick connects. It's not going to save you a million. It's not going to save you a ton of money, but I could see it saving you a little if you wanted to cut some corners and not get that stuff. Um, that's 279, and then 137. If you're going to go with the more expensive ball valve, which I suggest, the $40 one, then you wouldn't have to get this one. But so $123. We're looking at, I think, $2,100. $2,100. You can get set up. You can start soft washing. Now, a suggestion, and you don't have to do this right away. You could do this. Do a few house washes like this. Get some money together. And what I would suggest doing is getting a buffer tank, getting like at least a 50-gallon buffer tank or something for your machine here, because you might come across a low flow home. Homes are funny. Sometimes they're funny, and sometimes you just don't think to um, check the water flow. When you're doing an estimate, and it sucks when you get to a job and you realize the water flow is not as high as it should be. And like I said, with 5.5 gallons a minute, you're pushing it. If you're not getting the flow you need, you shouldn't be washing the house. Um, but what I would suggest is getting a Hudson float valve and a buffer tank of some sort. Don't go buy a brand new buffer tank. Look on your used marketplace. You can get a cheap one. You can get a little 35-gallon tank. Just something is nice. And what's cool about this unit is it is belt driven, so you got a suction thing going on, and you shouldn't have to worry about gravity and all that stuff. You should just be able to hook the buffer tank up, and you'll be good to go. So hey guys, I know the video was messy, but I'm just putting out content. Anyone who's really wanting to get into this, I know that what I'm saying is valuable. I know that it could help someone out. So if you're here for some education, then I'm sure you enjoyed the video. I'm sure it was helpful. If you're here for if you're here for entertainment, it's probably pretty boring, and you didn't make it very far. Um, what else should I mention? Oh, hey, you know what? Never mind. Yeah, we got the we got the website washlife 25gfx.com/washlife. You can get a bunch of really cool marketing material, make yourself stand out right away. And if you're already in a company that's established and you're wondering why you can't get you're wondering why you can't get premium prices for your services, you got to look like a good company. You got to look like you got it all together. So get some good marketing material. We can help you out with that. But what I was gonna say though is I got a Facebook page finally. So all these little forums and all the Power Washers Unite type of Facebook pages. We need to be that. I want everybody who follows me on here to go follow me on go like the Facebook page. It's just Wash Life. Go search Wash Life on Facebook, and we'll get that thing rolling. I'll be on there a lot. Facebook is easier for me to communicate, and hopefully we can all just kind of help each other out, offer massive value, help with pricing. That's a big one. Do's and don'ts. It'll be cool. It'll be a cool site. Um, so yeah, go check that out. I'm going to try and put links in the description for pretty much everything I've mentioned, and we'll see you next time. Ciao.